Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imad, and today I'll be teaching you chemistry. Today we'll learn about bonds and bond formation, bond breaking, and the enthalpy changes that these processes cause. Okay, first of all, what is a bond? Bond is attraction between two individuals. Now, it can be atoms, it can be molecules, depending whether the process happening is a chemical process, a chemical reaction, or a physical process like melting, evaporation, or condensation. Okay, first we'll deal with bond breaking. Bond breaking is basically a process that needs energy. It is endothermic. Endo means inside, and thermic is a form of the word therm, which means heat. So it basically means a reaction that proceeds by taking in heat. And a good example of this is boiling of water. When you boil water, the bonds between the liquid become broken. They are broken, and the water starts to evaporate and it becomes a gas. Okay, so now why does it require heat? The reason is that it requires heat because it has these attractive forces. The molecules have these attractive forces, which we need to overcome this force, and as a result, energy is required. Okay, so now we'll come towards bond formation. Bond formation is an endothermic process because the new bonds are formed, bringing in stability. And stability comes when a system releases energy. So the process is exothermic. Exo means out, and thermic again means heat. So it means the reaction releases energy, and that's how it progresses further. Now we'll talk about the enthalpy change. Oh, yes, I forgot a good example for bond formation. Sorry. It is basically the formation of polymers. You know, when we polymerize the polymers, we make a lot of bonds. Another good example is formation of ammonia. When we make ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen, we release a lot of energy. It is about, I think, 94 kilojoules. I might be wrong on this one. Okay. So now enthalpy changes occur when bonds are forming and breaking simultaneously. It's basically this equation. Energy absorbed to break the bonds minus energy released to form the new bonds. Whenever you are forming a reaction, what you are basically doing is you are breaking bonds and forming new ones. That's how you convert reactant to product. Okay. So now if the bonds formed are more energetic than the bonds broken, enthalpy change will be negative, and the reaction is exothermic. It's releasing energy. If bonds broken are more energetic than the bonds formed, the enthalpy change will be positive, and the reaction is endothermic. It's taking in heat because the bonds, more energy is required to break the bonds than to form them and to make them. A good example of an endothermic reaction would be formation of hydrogen iodide from from iodine. It is a gaseous iodine. Actually, iodine is solid, but we convert it to gas and hydrogen. This is endothermic. Okay, and for this, it is for an example for exothermic reaction, like I told you before, is formation of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen gas. Okay, so we have covered most of the chapter. Yes, there's one more thing that I'd like to tell you, and that is these energy profile diagrams. Basically, these diagrams were created to understand the reactions more vividly, the energy, and this is the progress of reaction. Okay. These are the reactants, and these are our products. And this is the enthalpy change. So you can see that there's an energy drop. The enthalpy change is negative. So the reaction is exothermic. This profile diagram is for an exothermic reaction. Now, this one is for an endothermic reaction. You can see that delta H or the enthalpy change is positive. The reaction is taking in heat. So the process is, this one is for endothermic process or endothermic reaction. So what have we learned in this topic so far? We've learned that bond formation is exothermic, it releases heat, and bond breaking is endothermic, it absorbs heat. When the bonds broken are stronger than the bonds formed, the net enthalpy change is positive and the reaction is endothermic. If the bonds formed are stronger than the bonds broken, then you can say that the reaction is exothermic. You can also say this, that if more bonds are broken than formed, the reaction is endothermic. If more bonds are formed than the ones broken, the reaction is exothermic. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it. I hope you understood everything and Allah Hafiz.